What if I told you that before you even understand what's wrong in your life, a part of you already knows exactly what you need or the direction that you're being pulled towards? A lot of people will sit around and they wait for the feeling to be ready, or that level of confidence. I need to feel that level of confidence in order to do what I'm going to be doing. I know that I can speak for myself, but there are times in my life that I needed to be able to try to plan things out. You know, if I had everything planned out and I know what to expect or what I was going to start facing or the problems that would be in my way, I would feel a lot more safer in the direction that I'm going to be moving. And it's actually true because one of my closest friends is actually this way as well too, and him and I talk about this a lot of times. Your mind and body has like this feeling, and that feeling, it kind of pulls you into telling you to do something. And I know for myself, there are a lot of times in my life that I could never fully explain what was going on inside of me. And every time that I tried to explain what was going on inside of me, or why I was feeling compelled to do something, or like I need to do this, most times people would sit there and they would look at me like I was crazy. For me, you know, there were many times that I could never find the words on how to explain that feeling inside. And even when I was younger, I couldn't even understand what was actually going on inside of me. But there was one thing that was always certain. See, in the second book that I'm working on, and it's also been explained in the first one, it's that urge, that pull. You know what I mean? And I had no idea what exactly it was. But all I knew was, like, as a young guy, and this refers to the second book that I'm writing that's in the process right now. As a young guy, the only thing I knew is I lacked a lot of direction and a lot of supportive people around me. So instinctively, I knew that I needed some sort of like structure. I needed a sense of direction or extra guidance in life. I needed that male role model around me that was consistent. And so in that moment in my life, I knew right off the bat, like I could find all of that, but I would have to join the military. And before I say any of that, I didn't want to join for people to think that like I was cool, or for people, you know, to feel compelled to thank me for my service. I joined because I knew it would give me things that I was missing in life. And so for 10 years, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I have honestly learned a lot throughout the military. I have met a lot of amazing people. And to be honest with you, I have seen a lot of the world and a lot of things that most people never will. And I don't say these things to try to persuade people to join the military or anything like that. For me, that was the best decision that I have chose for my life. And I say that because most people will instantly say or ask, like, well, how hard was it? Like, that must have been incredibly hard, leaving your family, going to war, doing all these things. And what I always respond with is everything you do in life is hard. But there are so many different beautiful things in life that you have to be aware of even during those difficult times. And so what I'm truly trying to get at in this video and in the book that I wrote and also am currently writing, volume 2, what I'm trying to get at is your subconscious mind works in very mysterious ways, that it picks up on things well before you even notice it. It notices patterns in your life. It notices your pain that you're dealing with. It also notices your environment that you're being surrounded in. And it also understands what you are lacking in your life well before you are even aware of any of these things. And that is why you feel this strange pull, or you feel guided or compelled towards people, places, or even things in life, and you have no idea why. You can never explain why. What I have personally noticed in life is that most people ignore these things. Majority of the time, It's because that feeling starts to become attached to a level of fear. Like for my example, like of course I was scared. I had that attachment to fear, and that fear was joining the military. Also I was scared that I would be around a bunch of guys that I never knew. I would be so far away from home. I would be learning a lot of things that I've never done before. I was told by people who had joined before me that there would be drill instructors, screaming in your face. And, to me, that level of fear brought on the fact of, like, I could never just go home whenever I wanted to. At the end of the day, I couldn't just go home. Like, I had to stay there. I had to live there. I had to do this repetitively for an amount of time. And what that fear actually is you stepping into something that you actually can't control. You can't control it, and you can't predict what is going to happen to you. So majority of people sit there, and a lot of times they will sit there and wait till that feeling of being ready, or that feeling of, I feel confident enough to do this. You feel that level where that kicks in. And this is where I also teach my daughter, because confidence isn't something that is just given to you. Confidence is something that you build. Like, even for another example, making these YouTube videos, making this community and establishing this whole platform around everything. For me personally, I am not the one to be in front of cameras. There's not a whole lot of pictures of me ever being taken. I don't ever normally film myself. And so you can even tell just by checking out old videos of myself. Even when I first started about a month or two ago, for God's sakes, I had to write on a piece of paper little bullet points of what I wanted to talk about in videos. And I did that so that way I didn't let that feeling of being overwhelmed or nervous kick in and override my system. And to address one person on one comment, no, I have never written anything from any kind of computer software. I've all done this from lived experience and written things down on a piece of paper, and through over time you start to build your confidence. And this is something that you can check in real time even by looking at old videos. What I am showing you is exactly what I'm talking about. That confidence is built by doing it and learning as you go. The more that you do it, the better you become at things, and that's called repetition and consistency. So sometimes in life, that same thing that you feel the urge pulling you is actually the answers that you've been looking for the entire time. The reason it scares you is because that's where your true growth really is. That's where your true strength actually lies in life. Because that's where you start to learn and you become more proficient at communication skills. That's where you start to find your own level of stability. That's where you start to find out what you want in life, and the person, who can actually hold all of that in life, instead of the person that just keeps accepting the things that are being presented to you. That's your subconscious mind trying to guide you forward to that next level of life people keep talking about. And you can do the research on yourself. You can hear people all over the internet. You can even hear your favorite celebrities that you may follow. They talk about, life is all about levels, and you can see how they speak, and what they're trying to convey in words is exactly what I'm telling you. It's your subconscious mind. It's you being willing to face that fear to go after the things that you want, because that's where you start to work on communication levels and showing up and stability and consistency and resiliency. That's where your true strength lies, and that's what your subconscious mind is actually guiding towards. It's a better version of you. And so my question to you is, are you willing to face that fear? Or why do you think that you're holding yourself back? I'm hoping that today's video hit a little differently. And I want everyone to understand this on more of a deeper level. You can also check out my book, A Child Called Home. It's available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, also on Kindle as an ebook and everything. The links are in the description below. I also created a guide called Found It at the Right Time, and that guide I created is to help you reflect and start making sense of your own journey. That link is also below in the description as well. If you would like to have more real conversations like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Because here on Spill the Tea, we talk about these things that people usually keep inside. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.